months ago, or several months ago, we lost Spider-Man to Sony somehow. And then you got Spider-Man back. How did you get Spider-Man back?
Miraculously.
Was Tom Holland really a part of that conversation?
He was. He was. We had an event called D23, which is a
big Disney
fan event. And Tom was there because he's a voice in a new Pixar movie called Onward.
Okay.
With Chris Pratt. And he said something on stage, and it was clear that the fans wanted Tom back as Spider-Man.
Yes, it was.
Made by Marvel and our Marvel production team.
Right.
And after D23, Tom reached out to folks who work for me. He said, could I please have Bob's email address or phone number? Of course, I'm very protected, so they were very careful. And I said, sure, have him contact me. And he did. We spoke, and he basically he cried on the phone.
Did he really?
No, not really.
Oh.
But it was clear that he cared so much. And actually, we care a lot about him. He's a great Spider-Man, isn't he?
He's the best Spider-Man.
And I felt for him, and it was clear that the fans wanted all this to happen. So after I got off the phone with him, I made a couple of phone calls to our team at Disney Studios. And then I decided to call the head of Sony. And I said, we got to figure out a way to get this done for Tom and for the fans.
Like two divorced parents.
And we did.
Coming together and figuring it out. And that's how it happened.
That's how it happened.
Wow,
he
that's
called
pretty...
me.
Well, look at that.
And I called them. You know what happens, sometimes, companies when they're negotiating, or people when they're negotiating with one another, they kind of forget that there are other folks out there that actually matter.
There are Spider-Men and women out there who you have to think of in these situations.
There's a whole Parker family out there.
Thank you for bringing the Parkers back to Marvel, where God intended them to be. This is the book. It's called The Ride of a Lifetime. Bob Iger, everybody. Sony, which owns the rights to Spider-Man, was pulling Spider-Man out of the Marvel universe, and it was terrible. And you somehow, according to Bob, smoothed that over. Is that correct?
Sort of.
Sort of.
I wouldn't say it was entirely my doing.
What was your doing?
I saved Spider-Man.
You did?
No, I didn't. You are Spider-Man. We were at D23, which is the big Disney convention, and the news had come out, and I was obviously devastated. I was really upset, and all my Marvel friends were there, and they were taking, like, Marvel pictures, and I was, like, not allowed to be in them. It was awful.
Really? And, you were excluded from the photographs?
Yeah, it did, like, a big... it was not the best day. But anyway, I asked if I could get Bob's email, because I just wanted to say thank you. I just wanted to say, this has been an amazing 5 years of my life. Thank you for changing my life in the best way. And I hope that we can work together in the future. And I got his email, I sent him the email, and then he responded very quickly saying, I'd love to jump on the phone with you at some point. When are you free? And you don't give Bob Iger, like, a schedule. You're like, whenever, Bob. So, like, 2-3 days go by, and then my family and I went to the pub quiz in our local, like, town.
Oh, like the night of trivia?
Yeah, like we're doing a quiz.
Okay.
And I'm, like, 3 pints in, right? Haven't eaten much. And I get a phone call from an unknown number, and I have a feeling, I'm like, I think this is Bob Iger. But I'm drunk. So anyway, so my dad's like, just take the call, you'll be fine. So anyway, so I answer the call, and I'm like, hey, Bob, actually, I'm really glad you called. What was the question? When did Snow White come out? 1944? 1944, write that down. No, I didn't do that. But I basically just said, thank you for the opportunity, and then he said, there is a world in where we can make this work, and then there was a bunch of phone calls back and forth from Tom Rothman. He was really instrumental in the process, and it was really interesting for me to have these two, like, studio heads, like, what do you think?
Yeah, it was like
I don't know,
a custody arrangement in a way.
Yeah.
But I think Bob said you cried on the phone. Is that true?
I weeped.
Did you really?
No, I didn't weep. I did, yeah.
You did, a little bit?
Yeah. No, I was really emotional. Because I felt like it was all coming to an end.
It was bad news. It really was bad news.
No, I don't know. We had a really good plan with what we were going to do with Sony. The future of Spider-Man was still very bright. But it would have been a shame to take him out of the MCU, you know?
Right.
He's where he belongs, and we've built such a strong character in that world, and it would have been a shame to lose that, but I'm just really glad that we managed.
Boy, I'm really glad you got drunk and got on the phone with Bob. And
I know, yeah.
Wow, it's weird the way things work out, isn't it?
I know, yeah.
Well, it's great to see you. Thank you
Thanks
for
for having
always
me
coming
back.
by. Tom Holland, everybody.